What's going on, guys? This Mike Reed here. Welcome back to another tour review by yours truly, and to part 3 of the Ultimate Beyblade Burst Collection review. So if you haven't seen parts 1 and 2, I will leave links to both in the description of this video. So just to refresh on where we last left off on part 2, we were last left off with this God Valkyrie recolor. So from there, we're going to continue from last time, starting with our first Beyblade of part 3, Arc Bahamut. Now, Arc Bahamut is a really cool looking left spin Dragon Bay. I really like this guy. And if you don't know what the Bahamut is, it was originally a giant fish in mythology. But over the years, the Bahamut has now become a dragon rather than a giant fish. So there you go. So Arc Bahamut is really, really cool for a God Bay. Why? Because of its features, which I'm going to get into that right now. So as you can see, Bahamut is very black. Very black in color, with little streaks of red on the wings, as you guys can see. So the next thing I wanted to get into is the gimmick. So the whole gimmick with this, and as you're going to see with the later Beyblade Beat Kukulkan, they have very similar gimmicks, as you're about to see. So the layers have these little tabs on them on the bottom that link up with the disc and the driver. So what happens is as it clicks, as you guys will see, or as it moves, little green wings will start to come into view. Like so. So you guys can see now there are these little, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up right, but we have the wings. There we go, perfect shot. Now it decides to focus. You guys can see the wings coming into view, which I'm going to show that again, how it works. So as it turns, the wings start coming into view. Now, this is its sort of last form of defense, as now, as you can see, what were the vulnerabilities in the layer are now filled in with these green wings, which does look pretty cool. And of course, it does burst like every other Beyblade after when it goes past that point. But that's its kind of last act of defense. Now, funny enough, the Hasbro version is actually better than the Takara Tomy version, because the Takara Tomy version had really bad teeth, and on top of it, the teeth were so weak that it could actually recover clicks during battle. Yeah, basically, which now Hasbro and Takara Tomy have now adapted that into a later Beyblade, which you guys are going to see called Heaven Pegasus, that has a very similar gimmick that Arc Bahamut accidentally introduced. So, at least in the Japanese version. So here you have Arc Bahamut there. As you guys can see, the layer, very dragon-like, as it should be. And then there are the tabs right there that move the wings. So that's how that works. And then we have the disc and the frame, as we normally do. So we got the 2-disc again. Nice to see. We do get the bump frame as well. Now, the bump frame's pretty nice, as it looks kind of like a dragon's tail, or like a spiny dragon, like a dragon's spikes, as you guys can see, going all the way around. So the whole point of this is basically to be bumpy and to create like an active defense, as the spikes will defend it against attacks from below. So that's the whole idea of that. And you click it on like so in the left configuration. So there you go. And then lastly, you get the driver, which is atomic. So nice to see it again, now in this nice purple and black color for Hasbro. And it's pretty nice. So there you go. There you have Arc Bahamut. Nice. What a great way to kick off part 3. Now to get on to its evolution that we got a couple years later in the GT line, in the form of Dread Bahamut. So this is Dread Bahamut. Now this is the Hasbro version, which is known as Dusk Balkesh, but for the remainder of the video, I'm going to refer to it as Dread Bahamut because, let's be honest, Hasbro's kind of bad at naming things. Not to call you out, Hasbro, but I'm just saying that you guys are kind of bad at naming things. So anyway, Dread Bahamut, almost called it Dusk Balkesh again. Anyway, Dread Bahamut is very, very nice, as you guys can see. Compared to its God Layer version, yeah, it's gotten significantly bigger, and the wings became increasingly large and very spiky looking. And so, again, it is still left spin, it is still a defense type. I forgot to mention that, it is a defense type. And I believe it was one of the first left spin defense types to come out of the Beyblade Burst line, which is really cool. So, Dread Bahamut here, as we can see, has this sort of spiky thing going on. You got the chip there, very nice. And originally on the Takara Tomy version, there was a gimmick where it had these little green wings, which this one isn't painted on this particular version, but there would be a green wing right there, green wing right there, and then the actually painted wings there, which acted as its recovery gimmick. So as it would burst, there would be tabs that would push the disc back into its normal position when it gets hit after when it goes past like the midpoint, basically basically helping it recover clicks and preventing bursts. Now, of course, because this is Hasbro, it doesn't have the gimmick, which is kind of a shame. But at least they painted the wings to kind of allude to this original gimmick. Even though I don't know why they painted these ones, they left these ones unpainted, that's kind of stupid. But anyway, so that's Dread Bahamut there, very nice. And on the original Japanese, it came with the Gen weight, which the Gen weight basically had a rubber gimmick, very, very similar to, Shozi Valkyrie that we looked at in part 2. We looked at it in part 1. But very similar to the burst stoppers, basically. We're basically supposed to prevent bursts, is what it's supposed to do. At the sacrifice of weight, because it was completely rubber. It wasn't made of metal or anything. So kind of cool gimmick. So there's Dread Bahamut there. Then we have 7, which I believe on the original, I think we actually got a frame with this, but I don't remember what frame it was. So I'm going to have to quickly look that up in a moment, because I believe this did come with a frame. But, of course, because it's Hasbro, it doesn't come with the frame. So, bummer. Bummer there. So that's the 7 disc. And then we have, in this case, Orbit Metal Slingshot. Or not Slingshot, Hypersphere. So, on the original version, there was a upgrade that they made called Orbit Metal. Now, Orbit Metal was basically taking the Orbit Driver, which we're going to see later with the Wyvern line, that with the Wyvern lineage, Beyblade lineage, whatever. But you know what I mean. But basically, it had a metal ball in it instead of what the original had, which was a plastic ball. But because this is Hasbro, they took out the metal gimmick and made it really chunky. So, good job, Hasbro. So, there you go. There you have Dread Bahamut. Now, I'm going to quickly Google this real quick on my computer, which I should probably bring in here, so that way I can correct any mistakes, because I know it had a frame, so give me 1 second while I go grab my PC. Alright guys, so I am back, and my PC is in the background, so I'm quickly going to open up Google real quick here for Dread Bahamut, because I need to make sure that I'm getting my facts down here. So Beyblade Wiki, there we go, okay. Dread Bahamut, yes, it came with the wall frame, that's what it came with. It came with the wall frame on the original. So, as a matter of fact, since I have my computer right here, I can actually show you guys what the original one looked like. So, there you go. That's what the original Dread Bahamut looked like. Pretty cool, right? Hang on, let me just get my other tabs out of the way, because you guys don't want to see what I'm doing on my spare time, editing videos and such. So that's what the original version looked like. So, pretty cool. So, yeah, and at the end of this series, I will be also showing you guys the original versions of the ones that I only have in Hasbro as well. Just because, why not? Why not see the original versions, what they look like? So, there you go. Next up here is the Beyblade that I was talking about literally just a moment ago. Next one we're going to be taking a look at here is Pt.3 from the Godlayer system. Now, this is my original version, as I actually have 3 copies of this Beyblade. Yeah, I know, crazy. So this is my original copy of Pt.3 I got back when it released. Excuse me, let me clear my throat. But anyway, Pt.3 here, very nice looking. Now, Pt.3 is based off the Kukulkan, which was a bird-like deity in, I believe it's Mayan mythology? Yeah, it's a Mayan bird deity of the sun. That's what it is. Yeah. It's a sun, bird, snake deity. Very similar to like the Quetzalcoatl and what's the other Beyblade that's based off of a snake bird thing that I'm thinking of. Oh god, I can't remember what it was. I think it was only Quetzalcoatl. I think it was only him. Unless I'm missing one. So, which again, I'll correct myself as we get more into the review here. But still, Pt.3 is very, very nice. I really like the look of this. Now, just like Arc Bahamut before him, he has a gimmick that involves a plastic ring tab function, where as it gets closer and closer to getting to halfway, as you guys may or may not see here, the wings extend out, as you guys can see. Those little yellow recoil points come out on both sides. So as you can see, both sides will expand out. Let's see if I can get a good shot of this. There we go. So you guys can see, I'm just going to hold the wing up with my finger there. There we go. That's the sort of attack gimmick, is that the wings will move. And of course they will retract once you click it back together. So really cool to see. Really do like Pt.3. Very cool gimmick. And again, this was at the time the strongest attack type Beyblade in the God Layer system, and for Beyblade in general, this was the strongest Bey. So, that's before Spinning Requiem came along and just swept them. So, and other Beyblades out of the ring. So next here we're going to look at the disc, which is again the 7 disc, so nice to see. But also we get a new frame with this too, the underframe. So the underframe is this pink kind of ninja star looking thing, which again has some nice molded detail on it. And basically the whole point of it is just like previous discs, like the wall frame and the, what's the other one that I was talking about that had like a protective kind of gimmick? I think that was the only one. Oh yeah, and the bump frame. Similar to those frames, basically it's supposed to protect against attacks from below, which, let's be honest, it doesn't do that. But it does look cool from a side profile. So, I'll give you that, Scartomi and Hasbro. At least you tried. And it does look really nice with the molded detail, as you guys can see on the camera there. Very nice molded detail. And then lastly, we get the Hunter Driver, which we saw initially with Killer Death Scyther, so very nice to see this return in this nice kind of bluish and gray plastic. So nice to see. So that is Pt.3, and out of all the God Beys that I do have from the God Layer system, Pt.3 is one of my favorites. It's so wild and crazy looking, and on top of that, in the stadium, this guy is just an absolute beast. So, really do like Pt.3. He's a really charismatic Beyblade, and I do like him a lot. Next, we're going to take a look at, again, another recolor in the form of this Drain Fafnir recolor. So nice to see. Not going to go too much into the layer, except that, well, excuse me. Oh, God. That's gross. Anyway, back to what I was saying before I was really interrupted by gaseous secretions in my body. Okay, that's worse. Okay. And just ignore all of that. Let's get back to this. So Drain Fafnir recolor, very, very nice. As you can see, compared to the green version, looks really nice. I like this one a lot better. Now, this actually came in a 2-pack with a recolor of another Beyblade we're going to look right after this, that being a Tornado Wyvern recolor. So, really, really nice Beyblade. Looks really cool. Not going to go too much into the layer, because again, we looked at it again with the original recolor I got, which was my first version of Fafnir, fun fact, that I ever had. So next is to take a look at the disc and frame together, and just to change it up, so that we get the 7 disc again. Not really going to talk about it because we already reviewed it before with previous Beyblades, and aka with what was the one, Hazard Kirbyus. So, and we also get the Meteor frame as well, which we already saw before. So nice to see. And we do get a recolor of Flugel as well in this oddly really bluish purple, like this deep purple kind of color, which I do like. Nicely accents the blue and the yellow, as you guys may or may not see. There you go. See? Nice accent colors. So, really do like this version of Drain Fafnir. This was my second Fafnir I got. Was that one. Now we're going to take a look at the next one in the 2-pack that we get. And our sort of first taste of the Wyvern lineage in this video. Excuse me. Clear my throat again. We are taking a look at Tornado Wyvern. So Tornado Wyvern is obviously based off of a wyvern or wyvern, which is a form of dragon. Now, wyverns aren't true dragons in mythology. They're kind of like a mix between, like, they have wings for arms, but they have regular bipedal legs. So they're not true dragons, but that's what it's based on, is the wyvern or wyvern. So, very nice looking, and the whole gimmick, as you may or may not have seen by me just kind of fiddling with it, is that it has this free spinning disc gimmick, where basically the whole point of it is just like on, Christ Satan, it's supposed to help roll attacks off of it. So basically you're supposed to hit it, and then the attack rolls off via the spinning row of spikes. So kind of nice gimmick there. So there you have Tornado Wyvern. Very nice recolor. And in a little bit here, we're going to see the original color version, hopefully. Hopefully we'll get to it in this video, as I don't want this sort of mini-series to go on for too long, you know? But hey, it's going to take what it's going to take to get through everything. So, once again, we can see the 2-disc again, so I'm not going to talk too much about it, but still, nice to see it return for like the umpteenth time. We also get to see the return of the glaive frame, this time in forest green. It's nice to see. And then we get a new driver with this called the Trans driver. Now, Trans initially debuted with what was it? Nova Neptune. Yeah, Nova Neptune. We initially got it in the Japanese, and it was introduced again in the Godlier system. Initially, it was revealed it was initially debuted in Alter Cognite or Alter Chronos' release in the US. So, because it didn't come with the original version. So, as you can see, the Trans driver doesn't look like much, but the whole gimmick is that this disc is able to move to change the mode, like so, if the camera will focus. Focus! 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 Focus you. Oh, come on. There we go. See, so you can change the mode like so. So now it's in a flat mode like this, and then you can also twist it back to a stamina mode. So that is the gimmick with Trans. Very nice driver. Oh, and also let me show you the insignia a little bit of this, because it kind of looks nice. As you can see, it's kind of a T, and it kind of demonstrates the gimmick a little bit, of the tip coming in and out. So really nice gimmick, and really nice Beyblade overall. And it did come with a launcher, but unfortunately the launcher broke because Hasbro's string launchers are pretty cheap. So I would show you that, but yeah. Oh, and also I'm not going to... Actually, you know what? I will actually show off all the different launchers that I have for Beyblade Burst as well, because why not? If we're going to do an Ultimate Collection review, we can't review just the tops. We're going to review the stadiums, we're going to review the launchers, everything. So with that, yeah, this series is going to be long. So the Bakugan review is going to have to be set aside for a bit here because this is going to be long. But I mean, hey, if you guys want to see more, I mean, just let me know because I will definitely do more of these and do the literal entire thing. So next off, we're going to go a little bit ahead of ourselves into Cho Z with probably one of the most broken Beyblades ever. That one being Archer Hercules. Now, Archer Hercules is obviously enough based on Hercules or Heracles. He was one of the gladiators in Greek mythology who had to do different tasks, and what were they called? Like, there were different, I think they were like trials, or they were like different things that he had to do and whilst he was around, right? I don't remember. But either way, we mostly remember him as the strongman, and also he wears the hide of the Nemean lion, which we can actually see on here. You can actually see the Nemean lion detailed on the center of the layer. Now, this Beyblade does have a gimmick, as it should, and not only one, being that both bows on the top and bottom are completely metal, and as you can see, they're quite worn on this particular version that I have, but also they expand out, like so. And this is its kind of gimmick. Now, the whole gimmick behind these bows moving outwards on the little springs that are inside is basically it's supposed to help make more surface area on the layer, and it's supposed to help increase stamina, which in practice it actually does do. So I will give it that. So good job, Archer Hercules. Your gimmick may be a little silly, but it actually works. So good on you. Now, Archer Hercules was pretty dominating in its time, as this thing was able to knock out Achilles, Valkyrie, Kirbyus. This thing was just a jack of all trades back in its time, which now it's heavily outclassed. But still, even with modern Beyblades, this thing is really hard to burst because the teeth on this one are just really, really good. So here's the back of the layers, so you guys can see the little screws there that hold the Beyblade together. So there you go. Archer Hercules. We get the 13 disc, which this was its initial release, its initial debut was Archer Hercules 13. Nice to see. And we do get a new driver with this one called the internal driver. Now, Eternal is actually made of POM plastic, and just like Revolve, its whole gimmick is that it has this revolving little circular thing, which does have some nice detail on it. Focus. Focus. Focus on the thing. Come on, camera. There we go. As you guys can see, nice molded detail. And the whole gimmick is that it spins freely, and it's supposed to help it so that way when it's knocked over, it can recover using the POM plastic disc, knocking it back up to a stable position. Which in practice, it does do really, really well. And on top of that, you can get some pretty insane spin times out of it, depending on, of course, who you're battling it against. But nonetheless, it's really, really, really good. Now, on top of the fact that it's so smooth and there's very little like points that like the spikes the Valkyrie could grip into and actually make the click slide, it's quite difficult to burst because of that too. So good on you, Archer Hercules. You're pretty dominating for your time. Now, moving on to the next Beyblade in Chosi here from the Chosi Layer system, we have one of my favorites from the system in terms of the early releases. Hell Salamander. Yep. So here he is. This is Hell Salamander. One of, I believe, yep, he's another left spin. Actually, no, he's a balance type. Yeah. Also, if you didn't get it already from Archer Hercules, he's a stamina type. The, the Wyvern is a balance type, and the what was it? The Fafnir is also stamina type. So I forgot to mention that, the typings. So please do, I do apologize for not mentioning the types of these, but this one is a balance type, so I'm gonna try to remember to do that for the remainder of the video. So Hell Salamander, very nice looking, and definitely was a fan favorite for a while, and you can see why. Because I mean, look at this thing. So Hell Salamander is based off of, obviously, a salamander, but in this case, it's based off of the mythological interpretation of a salamander, which was a lizard capable of producing and controlling fire. So that's why it has these kind of fiery details on, like, right here, and this kind of, like, green fire coming up out of the spikes here. And this, too, kind of looks like a metal flame, like spewing out. Like, it looks really cool. I really like it. Hell Salamander. Now, Hell Salamander, the layer, does feature a gimmick. And the gimmick is actually pretty ingenious. So, on the back here, we have this little tab, right? As you guys may or may not see, there's a little pink tab there. And just like all Chosi layers, this does have metal, which the metal's all around here. You may have seen that, and obviously it is doled out due to use. But, as you can see, you pull down this plunger, and we basically just push the layer like so, and we can change the mode. This is its attack mode. So now, instead of having 12 blades, it now has 5, and now it looks way more like a lizard-based ninja star. And this thing is extremely unbalanced and is super unpredictable in battle. And on top of that, this thing is just tanks a lot of base. I mean, my god, the Achilles didn't even stand a chance against this thing. But still, and that's just in its attack mode. And then, of course, we can go back to the standard defense mode, just by doing that. And then pulling up the plunger to keep the mode, from sliding and getting unlocked. So there you go. There you have Hell Salamander, at least a layer component. Next, we get the return of the 12 disc, which was to be expected because it was still early on in the Chosi layer system, so we're going to see a lot of reissues here. And in this case, it's in its original metallic silver color, which is nice. So, but of course, it is dull due to use. And then lastly, we get the Operate driver. Now, the Operate driver has some very nice gimmicks. That being that it can change mode. I'm going to show that right now. So as you guys can see, there is a little ball here, which when pushed down, like on a light switch, and clicks down. But that's not all. You take this little outside part as well, push it down, that locks the mode down. And now it's in its attack mode. And the attack mode acts similar to a jackhammer, where basically the off-balanceness of the ball causes it to jump and bounce around. Now, when it does this, it can get pretty violent. Getting so violent as to jump over Beyblades. Like, it will legit actually jump over Beyblades, like Maximum Garuda, Archer Hercules, Bika Kolkin. It can jump over them. Like, it's insane. So, really do like this driver, as it can have some really unpredictable results in battle. And then we click it forward again to put it back in its defense mode. Now, one problem I do have with Operate is that it does have a tendency, on my copy anyway, to go back into attack mode in battle. But if you're not getting too aggressive with the launching, you won't really have an issue with it. It's just a minor complaint on my copy, as other copies don't seem to have that issue with it changing into its attack mode randomly in battle. So, there you go. There you have House Salamander. Very nice Beyblade. Definitely one of my favorites from the early Chozy releases. Now, continuing with the early releases, we're going to look at the first defense type of Chozy, that being Emperor Fornius. Now, Emperor Fornius, to the casual person, you might think, oh, it's just a shark. Well, it's not just a shark, it's a demon shark. Because in Greek mythology, it was based off of Fornius, which was an aquatic shark demon. I'm not even kidding you. An aquatic shark demon. That's what it's based on in Greek mythology. So, really, really cool. Nice to see some changing of the demons, not just being just straight up Satan. Now it's an aquatic shark demon. Which, I know that they had a specific name for it, which, hang on, let me actually look it up. As there was a specific name of what Fornius was actually called in terms of the demon species that he was based on. Demon species, that's kind of a weird thing to say, but, let me just make sure. Okay, Emperor Fornius, come on. Why can't I type? Okay, thank you. Alright. So, what is it based on again? Okay. So, let's see. Let's see where it says. There we go. It was called a, let's see. So, yeah, the sea monster Fornius, a great marquise of hell in demonology, the sea monster. Okay, yeah, that's what it's based on. Yeah, it's basically an aquatic shark demon. So, there you go. So, here we have Emperor Fornius here, and he looks very, very nice here. As you can see, the two metal sharks sort of swimming around in a circle there. And this Beyblade was quite good for defense, so I will give it that. So it is really good. And again, just like all Chozy layers, it can use the level chip at the bottom. So forgot to mention that as well. I'm sorry. I'm kind of doing this on a whim, so I do apologize that I am kind of skipping over things here. But just like with previous versions, basically you can use, or previous Chozy layers, you can use the level chips with this, which I should have also stated in the last videos, that all the Chozy bays, aka Chozy Valkyrie, Spriggan, and Achilles, cannot use level chips. They specifically are, they're new molds entirely, and they're not designed to be compatible with level chips. So, there you go. So there you have Emperor Fornius, very, very nice layer. Mine does have some stickers missing on it, so I'm thinking about replacing this anyway, because it is kind of getting old, and I'm afraid it's going to break soon. So I definitely will be replacing this at some point with a brand new copy. So, there you go. There's a Fornius there, and we do get the Zero Disc again. As I said in the last video, we were going to see the Zero Disc return again from Spriggan Requiem. So this is its second appearance after Beyblade God, so nice to see. And we get a new driver here, that being the Yard Driver. So the Yard Driver basically functions the same as Atomic, where it has a free spinning ball that's supposed to keep the Beyblade upright during battle and to help absorb attacks. But in addition to this, it also has this obvious kind of four-leaf clover sort of disc thing on it as well. And that's supposed to, again, help protect attacks from below, and are also supposed to help it knock it back upright if it gets off balance. So nice to see on Emperor Fornius. And the green does accent the black and the gold and the blue of the shark eye there very, very nicely. So, nice Beyblade there of Emperor Fornius. Now, again, the last of the early release kind of Chozibes that I have here, at least for this segment, is Z Achilles here. So Z Achilles was the literally the second release of Cho Z of the entire system. The first being Winning Valkyrie. So there you have the two sort of rival Beyblades there. So nice to see. And I do have a recolor version that we're going to be looking at later that is actually broken. I do have to replace that layer at some point because due to the plastic that was used for that particular model's construction, yeah, it cracked and it broke, which really sucks because it was literally the first Achilles I got. So it would be really nice if I could get a replacement of it soon. But for now, we're going to look at the original color variant. So here we have Chozi Achilles here, which does look very nice, and obviously it's based on Achilles, the hero from Greek mythology. So nice to see. So there you have them. And then we have the knight aesthetic there, as we can see, with the plumage and the helmet with his little golden eye piercing through the helmet there. And we also get to see the shield nice and up front there, which we will see this in more detail on Chozi Achilles, the evolution of this we're going to look at next, who has an even more impressive looking shield. Oh, and also the crystal in the middle there for the shield is actually translucent plastic, and in lighting it will actually shine, which we're going to look at in a second. And as you can clearly see with the Achilles, we can also see that the swords and the shield bits are in die-cast metal here, which is really nice to see. So nice to see more metal in Beyblade. And as you can see, like I said, the crystal is translucent plastic, and if you didn't know any better, you'd think that would be real crystal, but it is not, obviously, because that would make it ridiculously expensive. But still, it is nice to see a translucent crystal shining through the light. It does look really cool. So there you have the Achilles there. Next, we're going to see the 11 disc, which we already saw before with Crash Ragnarok, so this is nothing new, but this is its debut. This is the Beyblade it debuted with, which is the Achilles, obviously. And then last, we're going to look at the Extend driver. So Extend, the gimmick of this is pretty straightforward. There's a top part here and a bottom base here, and when you pull up here, which you guys may or may not see, which now you can see, you can shift it upwards on these teeth here. So you can make it go up by just about a centimeter higher. So there you go. Or just a millimeter higher, I guess I'd say, is actually a better measurement here. So you can see it can click down and it can click upwards. I don't know if I can get a good angle of this, but see it slides up and it slides down. Now, actually, it does get an upgrade later on called Extend Plus, which I do not have on hand as of the time of this recording, because obviously because it comes in a basically a box set and it's really expensive right now. But basically, it would add more heights and also tip changes. But for the standard Extend, that's all you get. It's just a little bit of a height change. But nice to see a gimmick on the Achilles nonetheless. So there you go. The Achilles, very nice Beyblade, very red, and I really do like this version. Now that we're on the topic of the Achilles, so let's also take a look at the rare layer I showed off not too long ago in a previous review, which you can look at that on my channel here. We're going to take a look at the Saint Sword Z Achilles as well, now that we're on the topic. So, there you go. This is the Saint Sword Z Achilles. If you already saw the previous review, then you know what this already looks like. Very nice Beyblade part. So basically this was released as a campaign exclusive, where if you spent a certain amount of money, in a certain amount of Japanese yen in Japan, you could get this as an add-on bonus. But on Amazon there are listings for this right now, and that's how I got a hold of it. And I got a hold of this for, basically, it was a steal when I got this. So, really glad that I do have this version. And for comparison's sake, here's the original Z Achilles there for comparison. Now, skipping a little bit backwards here, just because I want to get these out of the way as well. I was going to say these for the end, but instead I'm going to throw these in here now. We're going to take a quick look at the Holy Knight God of Valkyrie, which, as you can see, I did end up using, and as you guys can see, the foil stickers are definitely chipped up here. So, again, for comparison's sake, here's God Valkyrie there with Holy Knight God Valkyrie, which Holy Night God Valkyrie was released as the same way as the previous Achilles, that being if you spent a certain amount of Japanese yen on Beyblade products, you could get this as a tie-in for free. So, but again, I got this through an Amazon listing, and again, I got this for pretty much a steal, so glad I got it. That I got a hold of it, because that is a pretty rare part, so nice to have. Now next, we're going to take a look at the second evolution of Z Achilles. So we had the Z Achilles, right? Now we're going to go into its Cho Z evolution, which I adore immensely. And we're going to show it off right now. So, there it is. Cho Z Achilles. And my god, is this thing an upgrade. And so, for comparison's sake, we're going to bring in the first rendition of Achilles, Z Achilles, and then this is its later rendition, Cho Z Achilles, which was again released in the same system, in the same year. It's nice to see two evolutions of the same guy. So there you go. So, Cho Z Achilles, again, just like Cho Z Valkyrie and Cho Z Spriggan, features burst stoppers that will come out when you launch it. And in this case, they're in this nice blue color, as you can clearly see here. And unlike the previous Z Achilles where the swords were pointed down, the tips are now pointed up. So now it's actually slashing at its opponents rather than trying to stab them, which is nice to see. And as you can see, the shield is much, much bigger and a lot more accentuated here, with a miniature shield in the middle with a nice blue jewel there, and a much bigger kind of bird insignia on the shield as well. And as you can see, the Achilles helmet is now, instead of facing to the side profile, it's now facing right at you, staring at you with its bright lime green eyes. And also has some nice detail on the helmet, little crest there as well, which is nice to see. So there you have Cho Z Achilles, very nice layer. And again, because of the burst stoppers, it is really powerful. And it does have only a couple slivers of metal, which is right here and right here on the swords. And most of the weight, surprisingly, comes from the plastic, not even from the metal. The plastic is where most of the weight of this comes from, because in hand, this thing can be quite hefty. So nice to see some nice heft on Achilles there, and some beef. So next we're going to take a look at the debut of the previous disc they were talking about before, the Zero disc. This is its upgrade that debuted with this particular Beyblade, shows the Achilles in this case, the Zero disc. And I love the look of this Beyblade. I mean, my god, this disc, it looks so nice. I mean, compared to the original Zero disc, which I'm going to quickly steal off of Spriggan here, so you're going to give me the disc. There you go. You can see the difference between 0 and 00. Now, 00 at the time of its release was also the heaviest disc of the system. So this was the disc to get in terms of weight, because my god, this thing is hefty. So nice to see. Also, welcome Art Bricks to the stream. Forgot to mention that. Welcome to the stream. So, and lastly, we're going to take a look at the driver here, which is a significant upgrade from Extend, the Dimension Driver. So, the Dimension Driver basically features a rubber spike in the middle, right there, and also features a telescoping height change gimmick. So, unlike the previous Achilles, which had two modes, both the default and the slightly taller mode, now it features 3 entire modes, which this is the base mode, mode 1, and by twisting this dial, we can see how it will change. So mode 2 now slightly hides the rubber spike and also gives it a little bit of height. Then we move to height 3, and now the rubber is completely hidden, the plastic is completely exposed, and now it's at its maximum height. And yeah, it gets quite tall. So really do like this. And also kind of a funny thing is that you can actually twist it just a little bit higher and just make it look absolutely ridiculous. But it's not intended to do that, as it does have internal clicks that are supposed to let you know that you've reached the maximum height. So there you go. And of course you can telescope it all the way back down to mode 1 again as you do. So there you go. There you have Cho Z Achilles, very nice version. Now, the latest version that we do have of Achilles as of now is this guy that we're going to take a look at next, who I've already reviewed in a previous video, but we're going to review it again. That being Union Achilles. So yes, this is its most recent upgrade in GT. Really nice to see this Beyblade. So, as you guys can see, for comparison, here we have the Chosy rendition of the character next to its most recent upgrade from last year. And my god, this thing is a beast. So I'm not going to go too much into this Beyblade, other than, of course, the gimmicks and everything, because you can watch the initial review for my initial thoughts and feelings on this Beyblade. So, really nice to see. Now, surprisingly for Hasbro, you can actually change the swords on this, as there's two different modes. So this is its default mode, the Power mode, also known as the Union Blade mode. And as you take the chip off, you can change these swords like so. Just simply pull them off. And now it's in what we like to call, or what is known as the speed mode. So basically it takes all that plastic off, and on the Japanese you would also remove the, what is this? This is the Retsu weight on it. Which of course, because this is Hasbro, it is molded into this piece. But anyway, back to the speed mode here. It's supposed to lessen the weight and make it move a lot faster. Now, one change that I don't like about this is that they didn't color the little gems on the swords red. There is one big complaint there. So there you go. And also they colored this part gold, silver, where on the Japanese it's gold. So there you go. So that is the whole gimmick with Union Achilles. So very nice to see. And we gotta click it in like that, right? No, wait, I have it wrong. There we go. And there is the layer of Union Achilles. Very nice to see. Let's see. Let me quickly read your comment there, Art Bricks. You're making another stop motion? Alright, well, I will definitely be tuning into your channel to see when that gets uploaded, because I would like to see what you got going for that stop motion. So, thanks for the update. I appreciate it. So moving on back to the disc here, we have, again, the convert disc. Now, on the original, as I said in my previous review on this Beyblade, it had a clear plastic part that would shift the weight of the Beyblade, changing the performance of the central weight here. But because this is Hasbro, they don't do that. It's just metal all around. Boo. Good job, Hasbro. Anyway, back to the driver here. We're going to look at Extend Plus Hypersphere. Now, Extend Plus, as I stated before with Extend, basically it was an upgrade that you could add to your Extend driver that would allow you to change the height as well as the tip modes. Because this is Hasbro, it doesn't do that. It's just one chunky unit. So, there you go. Not much really else to say about Extend Plus Hypersphere, but still, nice Beyblade all around, Union Achilles. And again, at the end, I will show you guys what the original version looked like, so you guys can get an idea of what that looked like. Which actually, you can actually see that on the thumbnail I actually put on that video. I used the Japanese anime CGI render of the Beyblade itself. So, nice to see. So moving on to this tray over here, we're going to take a look at some recolors, some new bays, some different generations. You already get the idea. So, moving on, first we're going to take a look briefly at some recolors, starting with Hazard Kirbyus here. Did I just call it Hazard? I meant Kaiser Kirbyus, my apologies. So this is Kaiser Kirbyus, almost called it Hazard again. So there you have it. This was specifically released in the Avatar Attack Stadium for Hasbro, but that's unfortunately now become an Amazon exclusive, and it's pretty hard to get the set now, but it is still nice that I got the version anyway. So for comparison's sake, we're going to bring in the original release of Kaiser Kirbyus, and you can see the difference in the paints there. So pretty much it's the exact same, except now this plastic is kind of lighter color, and the chains and the spiky like protrusions here are now silver, painted silver. So nice to see. Well, not even painted, they're printed silver. So, there you go. That is Kaiser Kirbyus there. And, of course, with this, we do get the limited disc. Not much to say about it, except, you already know my thoughts and feelings in the previous review, so pretty much the same applies here. Then, lastly, we have the driver, which is, again, the press driver, now in a black color, which is nice to see. Nicely accents the silver and the green and the fiery orange and red. So, really fits nicely on this Beyblade. It's nice to see a recolor of Kaiser Kirbius. Now this one isn't actually a recolor. This is actually a reissue. Technically, this Beyblade has a very interesting history, which we're going to take a look at right now. So, let's see. Let me quickly read your comment real quick here, Art Bricks, whilst I take a breather break here. Although Hasbro is good at Beyblade, they are really bad with their action figures, which have very little articulation. Oh, jeez, you ain't kidding. My Star Wars Rey figures are so bad, dude. Oh my god. they barely even move. It's actually sad. But anyway, but if you have tuned into my previous streams, you know I'm not really a Rey fan anymore. I'm actually more a Metroid fan than anything now. But anyway, that's a topic for another video. So back to the Beyblades here. I'm going to take a look at this guy. This is Mad Minoboros. Now, Mad Minoboros is actually an upgrade of a previous Beyblade called Minoboros, respectively. So, Minoboros is obvious enough based on the Minotaur, which the Minotaur was a half-human, half-bull creature that protected the labyrinths of Greek mythology. So really nice to see here. And as you can see, we do have the bull head with its little gem and its angry eyes. And it even has a nose ring as well, which is really nice to see. It has a little nose ring there. And then also we can see what look like flames coming up, like maybe flames of rage of being trapped in that labyrinth, being forced to protect it there. And we have the little blue flames coming up here, and we even got like this nice little black tattoo thing going around it too, which the stickers on this one are coming off. That's not good. Then we have the horns here sloping in, and they actually do curve up a little bit, which is really nice to see. So, really nice to see here on Mad Minoboros. So, really nice. Now, again, the reason why I said that this is kind of a reissue, kind of official release of it, is because it initially released as a random layer booster, that being it only came with the layer only. So, this is its sort of full release. And it came in a 3-pack along with Guardian Kirbius and Galaxy Zeus. So nice to see this Beyblade make a comeback. Because Mad Minoboros, surprisingly enough, was a very hard Beyblade part to get. Not the pieces that come with this, but just the layer. I mean, my god, this thing was hard to get. So glad I got a version of Mad Minoboros. Now, I actually do have the Hasbro version as well that we're going to look at later. So there's that too, which is really cool. And next up in this, we get, again, another nicely painted disc. This is the quarter disc. So the quarter disc functions very similar to Central in that its whole gimmick is to add a centralized base of weight on the Beyblade. So, as you guys can see, it does have this really big little protrusion there that on quarter, in this case, is supposed to add a little bit of off-balanceness that aids in Mad Minoboros' power, so it basically allows it to hit a little harder because it has that little bit of weight that kind of shifts the Beyblade's weight to one side, basically making it function similar to, like, I don't know how to describe it, but like it makes it kind of jerk about and kind of makes it kind of hit a little harder on the horns, which is nice to see. So nice design there of the quarter disc, and we get it in this really nice lavender kind of purple color. And then lastly, we get the Quake driver that initially was debuted with the first version, which is just called Minoboros. So, as we can see, instead of being its yellow color that we got in the original, we got it here in this nice blue color. And the whole point of Quake is that it has this kind of off-balance, kind of chisel-shaped tip that basically is supposed to help it bounce around the stadium like Hell Salamander's gimmick. Except this one is kind of worse at it. So, good job, Takara Tomy. Nice idea, but kind of poor execution. So, there you go. That is Mad Minoboros there, and he has some really nice teeth too, as you guys can hear. Really nice teeth. So, definitely difficult to burst. I mean, I'm not saying that it's super difficult, but it does have some difficulty of bursting. So, nice to see. Next, we're going to take a look at another recolor from Japan in this case, from the Takara toy line, that being Ragnarok here. So this is basically the same thing as the previous Ragnarok that you looked at from Hasbro. or as Hasbro called it, Rockdivore, but in this case we're going to call it Ragnarok just for simplicity's sake. So there we go. As you can see, as you can see, the differences there are pretty obvious. Blue, orange, and a little bit of this kind of, how do I want to say this? This kind of weird, like, lines going across the horns there. Those horn-like protrusions there. So really nice to see there, Ragnarok. And the eyes are red, and it looks really nice. And the teeth on it are quite good. So, nice teeth on that one. Not exactly the best, but they are decent. So that's the layer of Ragnarok. Which, let me also show the back there a little bit there too, so you guys can see the detail on that. Focus. Focus. There we go. So you can see the teeth. And then next we're going to take a look at the central disc, which we already looked at before, so nothing really much to say here. Same gimmick, same thing. And then we're going to take a look lastly at the Excel driver. Which again, same thing, blue, nice. Nice translucent colors there. So, really do like the look of Ragnarok, so really nice to see. Let me read the next comment here real quick. So, let's see, your next stop motion is about a ninja fighting a pizza delivery guy? Because a ninja doesn't have enough money for a tip. Well, that sounds like a good laugh, so I'll definitely give that a watch when it does come out for you. And for part 2, you're going to do a Clone Wars stop motion. You're going to make the clones part of the 212th Legion, since I kind of liked them. My second favorite clone Legion. Oh, nice. I'll definitely give both of those videos a watch when those come out. So, because those sound like really good, wholesome videos. So that's going to be nice to see. So, back to the Beyblade review here. After the Ragnarok in the collection, we got a recolor of Rising Ragnarok. This case, again, the ice blue kind of color, so nice to see. For comparison's sake, we're going to bring in the original version, so you can see. Now, actually, on this version, there would be flame stickers that would go across here, 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 and here, but because the stickers kind of got messed up when I was applying them, I just completely scrapped them because they're just kind of meh, not really all that good, so kind of got rid of them. So there you go. So that is just the layer there. And then next in here, we're going to take a quick look at the knuckle disc. Pretty much functions the same way as it would normally, so kind of meh, so Nice to see a return of this, but doesn't really do much. Also, sorry if you hear any weird background noise. That's my dad in the background, just grabbing what looks like construction paper. So, there you go. And then last, we're going to take a look at the driver, which is the yielding driver. Now, this initially debuted with Jaeger Yggdrasil, but because I don't have it here because it's in a random booster and I can't get a hold of it, this is pretty much the only time you're going to see this. So, as you guys can see, it's in this nice orange color, and it has this sort of pink POM plastic tip, which is the whole gimmick of this. Yielding, the whole gimmick is that it has the POM plastic tip, and it's supposed to make it like really, really slippery, and it's supposed to help it spin for extra long periods of time. So really nice to see. Now again, I did just notice that I did skip over the typings for some of the Beyblades there. So Z Achilles, again, sorry, is all three versions are balance type. Kirby Assist Defense, Minoboros was attack, Ragnarok is attack, and then this one is stamina. So again, my apologies here. So, next up here, we're going to take a look again at another dual layer Beyblade, which has some reissues here, but I think this Beyblade generally looks really, really nice. And it was, again, another one of my favorites from the dual layer system. So, enough hyping it up, let's just take a look at this really neat looking Beyblade, which is a balance type. So, let's take a look at it. This is Gigant Gaia. So, Gigant Gaia is obviously enough based off of Gaia, Mother Earth, in Greek mythology. Now, in this case, she is interpreted as, it's interpreted as this four-armed rock golem kind of thing, which you can kind of see this sort of four stones going across here, which I'm guessing is reminiscent of the Avatar or the Beast's four arms. And then we have the big stony golem heads with their ominous gazing eyes staring deep into your soul. Okay, that just got really creepy. And then you got the G in the middle there on the insignia there, and we also got the insignia for Geek and Gaia in the middle. So really nice balance type. Now the slopes on this are very tight for a dual layer system Beyblade, so bursting this is quite difficult. Much more so than you would think with a Beyblade with contact points literally shaped like jagged rocks. But anyway, so there you have the debut of the quarter disc here, this time just in a natural silver color, so nice to see. And then we do get a return of the fusion driver, so very nice to see. Same gimmick, same thing, worn out tip, kind of a shame. And we do get it again in red. Now I do have a color version of this as well, a recolor, which you're going to look at later, that is basically the same thing, same parts, but the colors here are flipped. So where it's red here, it's gold, and where it's gold on here, it's red. So basically it's just the same thing with the colors flipped. And I believe it also has a splash of silver as well on top of it, so it looks really nice for a recolor. But again, we're going to see that in better detail later. Now moving ahead to the God Layer system again. Now if you guys may notice, my collection flips between generations here, which I do apologize. This is another balance type that we're going to be taking a look at here, which I've been talking about in the previous episodes. That being Alter Chronos. So this is him, Alter Chronos, the guy that we've all been waiting for, or maybe a few of you have been waiting for. At least I have, because I really like talking about this Beyblade. So, Alter Chronos, well, who am I kidding? I like talking about all my Beyblades in general, but moving on. So, Alter Chronos here is obviously enough based on Chronos, the god of time. As you guys can see, it does look like it has some kind of timepieces going on within the layer there. As you can see, there's like little cogs, different little gears going around, and then you can actually see Kronos' face at the bottom with his shiny baby blues coming out of the otherwise drab and gray kind of color there. And then you got these yellow little spikes here as well, which again reminisces the time god from Greek mythology. So nice to see. Now, Alter Chronos does feature a gimmick in this layer, that being the little timepiece sort of gimmick back here. So as you can see, there's this little tab here, which when we push it with our finger, we can spin this all the way around until it snaps into place, like so. And now you can change the type. Now, as I should note, when it's in its default mode, it does have this little blue dot at the top, which as you guys will see, as I turn this again, it's going to change from blue to red, and a deep red too. And now it's in its attack mode. So now these little protrusions back here, you see these little like black little plastic dots here on the screen. Those are the weighted protrusions that basically make Alter Chronos move in a sort of jagged, kind of rambunctious sort of like, it kind of moves around aggressively, thus making it more of an attack type than it is in its default mode, where it's more of a stamina type. So very nice to see. And again, this is balance type, so very nice to see. So again, with this Beyblade, we do get to see the 6 and Meteor frame together here, which this is the debut of the Meteor frame, is with Alter Chronos in the God Layer system here. And then lastly, we get the Trans Driver, which is its second debut outside of Nova Neptune. So, there you go. Very nice to see there. And it's in this nice kind of orange color, which actually doesn't actually look as bad as I thought it would look, as it actually kind of adds to the black and adds some nice color variation to the otherwise kind of drab and metallic colors. So there you go. There you have Alter Chronos. And next up here, we're going to be taking a look at, again, another burst system Beyblade. That being, and this is a defense type as well, and this is, again, one of the first Beyblades I got for the burst system as well. Kind of fun fact I'm just going to throw in there. That being Unicorn. Now, Unicorn, obviously enough, is based off of the unicorn, the divine horned horse in Greek mythology. So there you go. Now, and in particular, it's actually based on the alicorn, which the alicorn is pretty much the same thing as a unicorn, except it just doesn't have wings. which, well, unicorns didn't have wings anyway, but still. So, anyway, unicorn here looks very nice. So you have the green horn there, and as you can see, it does have a horse face. So in two horse faces in the layer, which if the camera would focus, there we go. You can see the horse faces on both the top and the bottom here, with some horse hooves detailed into the face as well, which is a nice accent. Little horseshoe tattoo on its face. So there you go. And this gold part is supposed to represent, obviously enough, the unicorn's mane. So there you go. And you can see the two heads there. Very nicely detailed. So that is the layer of unicorn. And then next we're going to take a look at the ring disc, which this is its initial debut, is here with unicorn. So nice to see the ring disc. And we also get to see the return of the defense driver. So pretty much the same as on Kirby's, except it is a lighter color, as we can see here. Definitely a lot lighter than on Kirby's here. So there you go. There is Unicorn. Now, Unicorn does also get an evolution in the dual layer system that we're going to take a look at right now. That being Unlock Unicorn. So Unlock Unicorn is, again, based on the unicorn, but this time, instead of having two heads like on its original version, now it just has one horse head. So, kind of a shame. I was hoping that we would get some three-headed, like Cerberus unicorn or something out of this, but no, we only get one unicorn head. And as you can see, it does have the unicorn face there, nicely detailed, with its mouth open. Assuming it's neighing, I believe, or baying, or whatever the term is that's used to describe horses when they're making their noises. So there you go. And it does have the horn there, and it does have the mane that goes all the way around this time, unlike on the previous one where it kind of goes around halfway before it's stopped by a horn. So there you go. And on the bottom here, we do get to see a really nicely detailed horseshoe and a horseshoe-shaped U for unicorn, or Unlock Unicorn. It's nice to see. Now in this, we do also get the down disc, which is new to Unlock Unicorn. Basically, the down disc functions to add some nice weight distribution, and these little spikes help to protect against attacks from below, like the bump disc, like the bump frame, and and other similar parts. So very nice to see this. Then lastly, we get a return of the needle driver, which initially again debuted on Evil Eye, which in this one we get it instead of in green, it is now a bright sunflower yellow. Nice to see. So we put those all together, and there you go. That is Unlock Unicorn. Now, I fondly like to refer to this Beyblade as Target Unicorn because it looks like the Target logo. I mean, come on. They knew what they were doing when they were coloring this. So, really nice to see. So, and also, we got a recolor of this later on, which is actually going to be the last Beyblade of this part. Because, first of all, my phone's about to die, and also we're getting a good ways into the video here. I'm getting into that hour time. So, anyway, here we have Unlock Unicorn, the recolor version. Now, this one is obviously enough, a lot deeper of a red. The red now encompasses all of the clear plastic. We have blue right there on the face. And we have green for the eye and blue for the horn. So nice to see. And now the horseshoe is, instead of red, it is silver. So really nice to see. So there is the layer of unicorn. Oh, you can see that really nice detail there now. Look at that. Very nice. And then also in this, we do get to see the return of the upper disc. Nothing much to say, except nice to see it, return of this Beyblade. And we also get the return, or in this case, this is kind of new for this particular video, the Jaggy Driver. So the Jaggy Driver initially debuted with what was it? Dark Death Scyther, who we're going to look at later. So this release is in blue in this case, and it basically functions the same way as drivers like Spiral and Jolt on the Longinus line, where basically it's a star tip that's supposed to make it aggressive and make it spin around the stadium really, really fast and hit really hard, which there you go. And this one is classified in this particular release as a attack type, so nice to see. So, alright guys, that is going to be it for this part of the review. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to see more parts, like part 4, part 5, basically reviewing the rest here, then please do let me know by leaving me a comment in the comment section, and let me know that you want to see more. And if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and turn notifications on. And I will see you guys possibly later on with the next part of this review. So thank you guys so much for watching.